Happy Friday, y'all. Just a quick shout out, of course, to the Midnight for that opening song. Just one of my favorites. The song you just heard was America Online, which quite frankly is just such a great LA vibe. I hope you were feeling it as well. And be sure to check out the Midnight wherever you get music from. Welcome back to Biscuits with Bosses. Now, this is the live podcast where we get to know leaders in the film and television industry over a spot of tea and maybe a few biscuits. I'm your host, rocking my original rebel attire, Kay Ross, writer, filmmaker, founder of Owl Echo Entertainment, and with me today, as always, my co-host, my Ed McMahon, my East Coast buddy, Mr. Matt York. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. How's everyone doing in chat? Let us know. Let us know what you're drinking today. You know, we got a bunch of people on, so I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts. Leave your comments in the chat. But right now, I just want to give a quick shout out to Restream. That's what we use to stream. We're on 3 channels right now, but Restream actually lets you stream to like over 30 channels. They help you create like super professional looking videos, and you can do all this fun like ticker tape stuff like I was there we go, Restream one, and you can do QR codes and a bunch of fun stuff. So with your help, maybe we'll be on all those other channels, and if you're interested in streaming, check out Restream.
Yeah, man. And since we are doing a little shout out before we introduce our very special guests today, I also want to make sure that we give a little nod to our 2 sponsors, Off Duty Thanks Leisure Apparel, the most comfortable way to connect yet respect others in the film and television industry. Of course, we'll give you more information on that later. And Production Value Software by Gemini Crown Tech. Now, this is, of course, the best way to get your project from development all the way through distribution. But again, we're going to give you more information on our sponsors later, because I know that the reason you have come here today is to talk with and get to know these amazing professionals in the industry. First, allow me to, I'm just going to go from original to the most recent of all of our people. So at the corner here, we have Ravenn Burs from Victory Administration. So good to see you, Ravenn. Oh my God, we haven't seen you in forever. No, for those of you who don't know about Victory Administration, as I'm trying to like go over to my, hold on, I'm like, where's my bio? It should have been right in front of my face, but no. Hold on, Ravenn. In fact, I feel like I'm gonna give it to you to tell me. Tell me about Victory Administration.
Of course. So Victory Administration is a remote logistics and operation management company that works with creative entrepreneurs and small businesses. So we do everything from invoicing all the way through podcast production and things like that. So just a little bit of admin help, or please take it all. I don't want to do it. Admin help for film.
And I highly recommend both. Every production company has those moments where you're just like, please just take it all. Thank you for that. I was like, where's the bio? I don't see the bio. And Stephanie Moore of Gemini Crown Tech. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and about Gemini Crown Tech?
Sure. So I'm a line producer. So what I do is I break down the script, I schedule it, and then I figure out your budgets. But I also, for Gemini Crown Tech, am a co-founder. I essentially took a lot of the paperwork side, the business side of film, and made it easier for everyone to understand, because let's be honest, it's not easy to understand. And so that's why we created Gemini Crown Tech, and the production value software was to help ungatekeep things and just make it all on one platform is what we did.
And I love that even within that software, you've already thought about like the checklist of things you should be including in order to deliver, which I know we're going to get into later because we got into it backstage. And of course, last but certainly not least, our writer, our filmmaker, Robert Flowers. How you doing, Robert? Tell us a little bit about what it is you do and the Robert Flowers TV. Like, are you streaming somewhere? Have I missed the boat?
No, it's just my handle, but just to differentiate myself from other Robert Flowerses that are out there. But yeah, I'm a writer-director based in Los Angeles. I write stories about characters dealing with multiple worlds, either personally or fantastically, with a bit of a genre bent to them. Mostly movies. I did start writing and TV when I first, got out here and everything. But yeah, and the Robert Flowers TV is just my YouTube page and my Instagram handle. So I'm trying to build that stuff back up.
Yeah, man. That is so fun. Well, I feel like a hearty cheers to you all. Thank you all for coming out for a Friday tea. What's everybody drinking today?
Coffee.
Raven, I love your mug.
So, fun fact, my favorite animal is a turtle. Unlike
Aw.
many people in the world. So, yes, this is my special turtle mug filled with coffee because I'm a business owner and mother of two. So, there's that.
All right, we've got 2 votes for coffee. Steph, where do you come in?
I come in on the carbonated flavored water.
Oh man, she's going
Ooh.
cold. Yeah,
yes,
man.
yes, I like the cold because otherwise it makes me sleepy. Hot drinks make me sleepy.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Fair enough. Matt, what are you drinking today?
Well, I'm normally a coffee person. I'm a big coffee guy, but it is in the mid-afternoon where I am, so I'm having chai tea, but not just any chai tea. My girlfriend just made this chai tea. Like, she put tea bags in, and she boiled tea bags on the stove and put like star anise and clove and fennel and stuff and honey and some cream, and it's probably the most delicious tea I've ever had.
Aw. Thanks,
Yeah,
Matt's
seriously.
girlfriend. That's so nice.
Kay, what are you drinking?
I'm rocking old school because I've been doing that chai, from Geeky Teas for a little while, and I was like, I got to get back to my roots, so I'm doing my Irish breakfast, but in the most adorable mug ever.
Oh, nice. Is that strawberry shortcake?
Oh,
It's my little strawberry
Nice.
shortcake. Totally showing my age.
what strawberry shortcake?
Thanks for making me feel old. No, do you want me to say, or are
I'm
you just picking at me?
I'm sorry. Could resist. Feel free to give it back. It's okay.
For those of you who are listening, no, in backstage we were talking about like the best friends we all seem to have are the ones who know when they can pick on us. So, Robert, you're adding another token into our friendship basket. Thanks so much. Wait, no. Okay, so Raven, you said your favorite animal was a turtle. I feel like I want to let's make that a Ted Lasso question. What's everybody's favorite animal?
Yeah, mine is a turtle. Do we have to say why? So
Yeah,
my
go for it.
favorite animal is a turtle. Years ago it was a tiger, but as I got older, I was like, my spirit animal is a turtle because one, you absolutely cannot rush a turtle. Like, it doesn't matter what you want or like how bad you want them to move. A turtle is going to do what a turtle is going to do, and that's it. They also sometimes don't want to deal with anyone or anybody, and they just kind of go into their shell, and that is very, very much me. So, yes, that's why it is, because you cannot rush a turtle. They're going to do what they're going to do, and sometimes they just don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, I love that. Also, I feel, is it like sea turtles specifically or just any kind of turtle?
I never really thought about it, but probably if I sat with it, probably sea turtles, because they are the ultimate unbothered turtle.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention the legacy of a sea turtle, because, like the tortoises on, that place that Darwin used to research.
Galapagos?
Yep, Galapagos Islands. Thank you. See, my brain can initiate. It just takes a minute. But like, how long do those turtles effing live? And why? Probably because they're not rushed. Like,
secret to life.
Right?
Go slow.
Secret to life. Steph, Robert, any thoughts on your favorite animal and why?
Oh, strong choice.
Manatee. Okay.
Yes.
I'll bite.
So one, they keep themselves afloat by like, okay, you guys are going to laugh because it is funny. They keep themselves afloat like literally just tooting. Like, I think that is the funniest thing on the planet.
Awesome.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they are like the gassiest animals besides hippos on the planet.
Wow.
Yes. But also manatees like were mistaken forever for mermaids. And they're like so sweet. They're like the sweetest freaking animals, and they just like to eat and they like to sleep. And I get it. I get it. It's kind of like sea turtles. Like you can't rush a sea turtle. A manatee is going to do what a manatee does, and it's going to keep itself afloat with gas. So, you know.
There's a joke in there somewhere. But yes.
There's a
Yes,
joke everywhere in there. Just waiting to come out.
Infinity.
Robert's any thought on your favorite animal?
I will just be boring. It's my dog. It's my dog Biz.
Aw.
So
Oh, that's
he
so
looks like
good.
Snoop. He looks so like Snoopy when he's got his haircut, which he has right now, and he looks like a big teddy bear / Ewok when he's all fluffy. So yeah, yes,
An Ewok dog. I love this so much.
yes, very much so. Yeah.
Matt, what say you?
I really like spider monkeys. I don't know why specifically. I guess we were learning about like apes and monkeys or whatever, and I learned that the spider monkey has a tail that's longer than itself, and it uses it as an entire fifth appendage. Like it's not just like to swat away flies. I know like monkeys obviously are very agile, and a lot of them use their tails, but like I remember going to the zoo and I like saw one and I was like, that's the size of me. And then I like realized like, oh, I don't know, these things exist. It was very cool. I've always enjoyed like they're like the closest things to us without being us. I know that's like technically chimps, but like just something about like the freedom of like just swinging from tree to trees and like just eating fruits and berries and bananas. I was like, that's a life that I want to have. So I've been spider monkey the whole way. How about you, Kay?
I'm an animal lover, so it's really hard for me to pick just one. Admittedly, the one that on Big Bang Theory, where there's this joke about like he gets a koala face, and I get like a red panda face because they're so cute. and because when you take it kind of apart, some part of it looks bear-like, some part of it looks raccoon-like, some part of it looks, panda-like. So I kind of love that it gets to be one creature, but loved for all these other aspects that are other animals. But I just felt like I wanted to give a shout out to baboons. I know. But the reason I thought of it was because what happens? Add to stream. Hold on. Come back, sir. What happened?
I don't know. I mysteriously left.
Cool. So baboons, just because there's this fantastic documentary called Stress: Portrait of a Killer, and there's this discovery that was made about humans because the societal structure of baboons is so similar to humans. And so I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to give a shout out to this entire animal species that has helped us get to know ourselves better. Yeah. That's my 2 cents. Not actually my favorite, but I'm a shout out to baboons. I know we have lots of getting to know you stuff that can come up, but I kind of want to dig into the victory round. And part of that is just because I feel like some people here have some stuff recently that they would like to celebrate. Usually it's from the past week, but like Ravenn, it's been a minute since we caught up. So is there something either from this past week, maybe this past month, that like you did that you're really proud of?
I celebrated a milestone birthday. That I'm very proud of that.
Yes.
I think.
Happy belated birthday.
Why, thank you, Libra gang. I think that for me, it's interesting that this is the victory for me on an industry call, but I feel like for me, it's really reestablishing work-life harmony, not even balance per se, because it's not always 50-50, but really reestablishing work-life harmony in the past week or two has been incredible for me. Like I've been kind of really heavy one way or the other. I'm just like all in family or I'm all in work, but lately there's been a beautiful harmony between me getting my work done and having a good pace, and me being the wife and mom that I love to be. So that's my victory.
Cheers
And
to
you guys
that.
may actually hear one of my littles in the background.
I love hearing your littles. They're so amazing. And cheers to that, if for nothing else, because one of the many things that I think I'm hoping this podcast and this time with us talking promotes for other people is like, first off, we're all just people. So please, whether you're entering the industry for the first time or, transitioning from other, industry, like please, please, please try to have moments like this where you're just relating to other people in the industry, like people, because we are. And then if you remember that we're people, then you also remember that, yeah, maybe it's not always 50-50 and it's not always perfect, but maybe we can find harmony. And what a great word. What a great word for that. Yeah, man. That's really nice. All right. I'm going to pass it off. Steph, Robert, do you have a preference? Who would like to go first?
Not it.
Steph, go for it.
This is the silliest victory probably anybody could think of, but I have a wall, and it's a pain in the butt of a wall. I've been trying for the last 3 months to get a curtain rod up on this wall so that I can actually sleep, in past, 6:15 a.m. I also have a cat that likes to wake up at 3:30 in the morning because the light changes, right? Oh, no. This week, finally got that sucker up on the wall. Yes. With 45-pound, like, double-sided tape. So, like, that tape that's made for, like, hey, it's up for 45 pounds. The curtains are not that heavy. The curtain rod is not that heavy. That wall is just possessed. So, yes, not like a work victory, but dear God, that is a life victory right now because I'm just like, I just want to sleep. Again, manatee. That's why it's my favorite animals because they like to sleep. I do too. I get grouchy when I don't sleep.
Well, cheers, though, that you got it finished. You accomplished it. That's great.
There's a lot of swearing involved too. Like, no joke. I was just like,
But also, like, even if it's not industry related, because like having a victory that it takes one more thing off of your plate so that you can get back to work or you can get back to rest, right? Like, girl, no, it's a totally valid victory. Because if it wasn't done, you would still be frustrated and would take up your mind space. And there's just no time for that. So
exactly.
rock on. Robert, you were up, sir. You cannot avoid it any longer.
No, so this past weekend, actually a week ago, I shot and put together a 5-minute horror short with some of our LADL folks as part of the submission to the Jacob Owens horror contest, just on a whim. Someone brought it up in our group and like, hey, we should do this. And it was just fun to be like, all right, let's do it. And the group itself made 7 of them, but I couldn't participate early on because I was overwhelmed with stuff. Like, and I'm like, I have one window, and it's literally the night before. It's due Monday at midnight. I'm going to shoot Friday. And I spent the entire weekend cutting, sound design, laying down tracks, mixing, doing it all myself and getting it in well ahead of the deadline on Monday. And that in and of itself was just super fun because making movies is fun with very talented friends. And that is a big part of my working mentality. And it was just so great to do. And I had such a good time. And people, just one day, let's come hang out, make a movie. And it was just fucking rad, to be frank. And I loved it. And then the hard part was drinking a lot of Red Bull and staying up, squeezing my grandma's birthday in, coming back and just editing and cutting and doing all that stuff in time for the deadline. I didn't even give a shit if I made the cut or not. Just making something and finishing. Finishing is so hard in anything we do here. And so I was like, all right, cool. And I felt really good about that on Tuesday. I'm still recovering sleep-wise, but yes.
Oh my God, but cheers, sir. You basically created your own 48-hour film festival and completed it. That's amazing.
Do it to see if you can is a big thing for me personally. Just never know. So, yeah.
No, that's great. And I'm a big advocate for and big fan of the 48-hour film festival because it does allow you to test out certain things, but like knowing how you entered that situation and just made it into a 48-hour film festival, I think you're right. I think the victory really is not that you said yes to it, but that the acknowledgement of if I don't finish it, it will continue to weigh on me, right? And finishing is more important than anything else. Like that is huge. So
Yeah.
second
I mean,
cheers, all the
yeah.
snaps.
I've also not finished things, and that stuff is painful and stays with you. So
Right?
one of, yeah. So this is a big deal
So
to me.
painful.
Yeah.
I do, because Ravenn, I know you got to get going soon, so I kind of want to hear more about like what you've been moving towards. But 30-second victory, Matt, tell us your victory from this past week. Quick, go.
For the first time ever, I brought up getting a raise with my boss, and he didn't say no.
Oh, yes.
So that's my
Yes.
very recent victory.
Did you see all the mugs? Because that is a big victory, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. That's so exciting. Actually, I feel like that does kind of fit kind of cleanly into, what are we doing to, not just show up as our best selves, but when we do that, how is that improving and elevating the future of filmmaking? Ravenn, I know you have to get going, but like, tell us a little bit what's been happening in your world and like, how are you hoping it'll like reverberate into the rest of the industry?
Really, like I said earlier, I've really just been focusing on like being in the pocket of what I love. So when you do logistics and operations, it's a huge, like it's a wide net. So lately I've been like, okay, what do I do best? And can I lean into that? Because I think that hustle culture really gets to us in the film industry. We are very accustomed to doing a lot of jobs for not a lot of money all the time. And so really trying my best to, like I said, just settle into the pocket of what I'm good at lately.
Yeah.
And in that, really having conversations about like what I enjoy outside of work, because even if you think about the conversations you have with people, it's like, what do you do? That's the first thing. So for me, it's really been, like I said, like in the pocket, like what do I do best and how do I do that in the industry? Because I feel like that is my biggest contribution to those around me. To those, as I put up my mommy finger.
Very powerful mommy finger.
I think that's it for me. It's been, like I said, what do I do best? How can I use that to further things?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I've really been trying to just encourage people. I think right now there's a lot going on, and no matter how you look, right, where you look, there's a lot going on. So for me, if I see somebody do something really well, I try not to keep that to myself. Like I try to let them know if it's a comment on social media or like if I'm talking to them or a text, I'm like, yo, I saw such and such. I think this is great. Speaking of, Kay, you launched a line of apparel and I think that's great. So yes, that's what I've been doing a lot of lately.
Aw, thank you so much. No, and I was thinking the same thing when you were like, and the other end of that is not just showing up and saying this is what I do best, but like, what do I really want to do with my downtime? Because that was kind of the point of doing this, right? Was one, if you just want to say, bugger off, which you can, you have the ability to just say F off, shove off. Then you can do off-duty thanks, right? You can just be kind about it, be gracious about it, but just say, like, I'm not going to respond to any inquiries that are work related right now. But let's say you are off duty and you're okay having that conversation. The other end of that is maybe I'm hanging with my gal pals, right? Or maybe I'm hanging with my family. Maybe I'm just having some much needed solo time. I'm happy to say something, right? I'm happy to connect on Instagram or like, let's, make a coffee date for another day. But that's all you get, right? Like connect and then respect. And so just as a yes and to what you just said, I think having that mentality of, yes, I'm going to show up and do what I do best. And on the other end of that, when I don't have to show up, I'm still going to be at my best doing something I love. And I think it just fosters that mentality. So thanks, man. Thanks for recognizing.
So to keep me from hopping off like in the middle of someone else speaking, okay, I'm so proud of you. and everything that you're doing, not just for Out Echo, but for the film community. I had the privilege, everyone, of working very closely with Kay on several projects. And one thing I'll say is that the entire time Kay was like, yes, I want to do this. And how does this help people? So it's not just for this live. It's not just for this show. It is actually her heart. So Kay, I know that you're all about edifying and uplifting other people, but for you, thank you for everything that you do for this industry and for the people in it.
Aw, thank you, my friend. Well, back at you, because for those who don't know about Victory Administration, and you come in like a smoldering fire, and you just like warm up the place and make everything so enjoyable to do, and then like you're on it, man. You're so good. So if you haven't heard of Victory Administration, check it out, see what they can do for you. And I know we'll leave the contact information in the chat so that you guys can find her and connect.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Littles. It was good to hear you.
Bye.
Bye. Aww. Aww. Isn't she the best? I love her so much. All right. So clearly we can still tailspin from our victory round. But before we dive too far, do you guys mind if we give a quick shout out to Off Duty? Because normally we do a little sponsor shout out. And then we can dive a little deeper in. You mind so much. Robert, I love the shit you give. It makes my heart so happy. All right. Just pulling back the curtain. Hold on. Let me get my script up. Where are we? Oh, here we go. The promo. All right. Off Duty. Are you looking for more organic ways to make new connections in the film and television industry? Trust me when I tell you, I've been doing this for a few years, and it is possible. Off Duty Thanks is an apparel collection that offers the most comfortable apparel you can wear while enjoying non-negotiable time off. Going out with friends or family, and you keep getting asked for pictures. Clearly, some people do actually have this problem. If you wear the original Off Duty Thanks apparel, it's the perfect permission slip for expressing gratitude while respecting boundaries. Just say no thanks. Enjoy the rest of your day. But if you are actually off duty, but you still want to make connections, you can wear the artist-specific collection to start the conversation. Then all you have to do is just grab that info, get back to your loved ones or your precious alone time. Plus, every purchase gives 5% back to the Entertainment Community Fund, previously known as the Actors Community Fund. And this is just a great way to not just help yourself, but also give back to the community. And of course, as a special thank you for tuning in to Biscuits with Bosses, you can use the code BWBTY10 at checkout for 10% off your entire purchase. Of course, if you're watching this as a recording, you can just click that link below. It'll still get you that 10% off. And just in case you're not sure how to engage with people while wearing your off-duty attire, every order comes with a small guide and suggested scripts so you can connect quickly and respectfully. And to our other sponsor promo, because we've been working with Production Value Software for a minute. Production Value Software, if you're an independent producer like myself or a content creator even, then you know how difficult it is to stay organized. Production Value is the only program that keeps all your project's material together from development through to delivery. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking about delivery here in a minute. Now, this includes a checklist at every stage to make sure you don't miss a thing, which is incredibly valuable because you don't want to get to the end and then be like, oops, sorry, we can't pay you because you don't have everything. Sucks. Now, for more information, check out the link in the chat. And of course, you do receive 10% off with our special code BWBosses. You know, because we like to just help out whenever we can. Make sure you're getting that good deal. All right, back to the conversation at hand. And really the conversation that we started backstage because, Robert, I feel like one of the reasons you and I like even connected at first, other than the fact that we just love talking filmmaking, but at some point you were like, you're a producer? You like contracts? Come here. You are my people. But like,
yeah.
I feel like nothing really seals the deal for like, you need to get your contracts in order, like distribution. So I would love for you to just tell us a little bit about like, I know you're about to distribute one of your shorts on Dust. Like, what has that experience been like? And what lessons about contracts have you been learning?
Well, there's been two shorts of mine that are kind of going through the process. One was Dust, which is a little simpler, and one is another platform. And it's just funny because like they need these releases. And for Dust, it was specifically music. They would not go forward if you didn't have music clearance. And so I had, and this is not unique to me, I had someone make music specifically for that film. So I had to go to them, and luckily I had, I'm friends with them. So like, on the short, if your circle's tight, it's probably not as big of an issue. But if it's not, all I kept thinking to myself is like, I have to chase people for paperwork. It's like chasing a guy who's in your shot. Get a release, and you got to flag them down and get them to sign something. And so in that case, I was like, okay, that's something I need to know. And in the other case, they're like, you need to have this, and it was like a feature length list of paper, as I call the contracts. You need to paper it. And I was like, oh shit. I'm calling my producer like, hey, do we have this? We have this in a Google Drive, right? And again, in a short, you might not be thinking about that because it's a smaller thing. But like with the platforms now that are available to us to show stuff, you kind of need to think about that beforehand, not afterward. Beforehand.
I think it's so interesting that music was the thing that they focused on because, depending on what you have on screen, but like talent releases always huge, right?
Yep.
And then chain of title, right? Like who wrote this thing? Do you have the rights to actually like make this thing? And I didn't know if that was a thing for your short, but that's the thing that like keeps me up at night as I'm moving forward with my features. I'm like, who has the rights? Let's make sure we have the paperwork to prove it. Oh God, it's terrifying.
For the scripts, I immediately go to the copyright office, and I've done that for the recent things. So I immediately have that copyright for the material that's underlying it all, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, you're totally right. I was like, oh shit, I better start doing this. That's kind of how you learn, better start doing it. So yeah.
There was Steph, I feel like you probably know the system better than I do, but there was this thing that I learned when I was on Buddy versus Duff. And it's because when you're, especially with reality, you don't have control necessarily if there's foot traffic or if there's visiting people, right? There could be people in the background. And if there's people in the background, we may see their faces. If we see their faces, we need a release. And so just as one of the coordinators, our responsibility was to get every person in that space to sign. And then in order to determine, because we know their name doesn't mean we know what name goes to what face. So we would put a number at the corner, right? Big, Sharpie number, and then have them take a picture with their signed form next to their face. So we could easily see name and face in the same frame. And it was just a quick way to, one, prove, yes, we actually did get the form and it's signed, but also so that when we then put it together in the development package, we know whose face it goes to because somebody in post-production is going to want to know, right? Like, I see this face in the background. We need their release. Who is that person? Oh, yeah. Anyway, I pass it off to Steph because I'm like, what other releases are we missing, ma'am? That one was for me.
Art releases. Oh my gosh. Art releases will kill you if you don't have them. Like, we were talking backstage about how like a friend of mine could not release this amazing film because yes, it was a mass produced art piece, but the people that owned that mass production of it didn't want it in that film. And so they literally did a cease and desist letter. And my friend could not distribute a film they worked really hard on and had amazing, incredible talent in it. They can't release it because they didn't have the art releases. And now that there's been a cease and desist letter, like those people could have not been jerks, but they were really big jerks. And they were like, oh, hey, by the way, we're not going to give you permission to use this. So it's like, okay, well, crap. Also, like y'all were saying before, music releases, like if you're using music that anybody besides yourself has written, make sure those releases are done correctly. This is why people are like, oh, I don't need an entertainment lawyer. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. They are your best friend. Like, from a producer's point of view, they are your best friend. Find the freaking money to pay the dang lawyer. Like,
Poor Robert's face is about to just like fall off his head. Yes.
yes. Because it's like you're like, oh no, I wrote all this. Okay, but do you have the clear chain of like also do you have the clear
Mhm.
chain of title? Have you put all the paperwork together? Have you like E&O insurance? We were talking about E&O insurance too. Like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, yes. Like, yes, you need insurance. You need insurance for everything. You may not think you do, but you do because some idiot's going to do something. I'm sorry. Some idiot's going to do something and you're going to get hit with fines that you shouldn't be paying for because you didn't get the right insurance. And it
Yeah.
sucks. But like we as creatives have to think about it the way that the corporations and the studios think of it. Studios and corporations, Disney, oh my gosh, Disney makes you sign away your life.
Oh, I bet. Because they can.
So, like, they protect themselves very, very well. They have the money to do it. Now, as entrepreneurs, as small businesses, because that's what every film is, it is a separate small business.
Yes.
You have to treat it the same way. Like,
So
you're not going to have the funding of Disney, but what you need to do is you need to think like Disney exec does.
To that point, and I would love your perspective on this, something that I discovered in the last couple of years as an entrepreneur, that also one of my outputs is production, right? So having an entertainment lawyer is very helpful for the films, right? So all of those kind of contracts. But when it comes to the business lawyering, I actually need a separate lawyer, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
determining if I violated a FEC, you know, right?
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah,
just
you need to
two
make
different
sure.
things there. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because you need somebody who practices like business law as well. And yeah, that seems overwhelming, but at the same time, like you don't want to get into a situation where you're taking investment funds and you don't have the right contracts.
Yeah.
One, because those investors, if they truly are investors, they're gonna know the contracts they need. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna know. Also, you don't want to get in trouble with the Securities Exchange Commission at all. No, you really don't want to get in trouble with them. You don't want to get shut down because of that either. So you have to know, like, you need to know all these things. You need to have those business plans. You need to have all the business side of things done, because if you don't, nobody's gonna ever be able to see your beautiful work,
Yeah.
because there are those rules. And yes, it sucks, but it also means that you as a filmmaker, as an artist, as a human being are protected. Because like, yes, it may seem silly and it may seem like, oh, this is just somebody trying to take more money from me. No, what they're actually trying to do is make sure that your ideas, not your ideas, but your output can't actually be stolen by somebody else.
Yeah.
Because how many times have we seen or have we heard or have we been a part of? I worked really hard on this only for somebody with money to take it away from us.
Yeah.
So, one of the big things for me as a line producer is I always look at, when I'm creating a budget, I always look at and make sure that those like the attorney fees, that there is money in there from development all the way through distribution, that there is money for those lawyers.
Ooh. Do you have, because I like me some general numbers just as a starting point. So, for example, one of the things we learned in film school is always build a contingency percentage into your budget. Your
15%.
contingency line, your contingency is 15%. Okay. I usually do 10.
Yeah.
But for your
And most people do.
legal, what
Huh?
would you say for your legal? Like if you were to assign a percentage just for legal from beginning to end
On a short film or a feature?
feature?
And you want like cash numbers, or do you want like percentage?
Percentage, because I prefer percentage.
Yeah, I'd say between 12 and 15% of your total budget needs to go to them.
Wow. That's insane.
And the reason I say that is because, like, if you're on the lower, that's for like the ULBs, right? For ultra low budgets, for no budgets. When you get into the bigger numbers, yes, you're still going to need like quite a bit, but at the same time, that also, like, if you have that for legal, it's also covering your insurance. Because part of that is going to go to the attorneys to make sure that whatever insurance you're getting is the actual insurance you need, so that you're not accidentally paying for something you don't need, or you're not freaking covered for something that you didn't realize you needed covered.
I'm curious because I know we started chatting about this backstage. Like, why is it that we're not learning so much of this in film school? Now, full disclosure, I walked in 2012. So my time frame for when things are being taught and not being taught are a little off. Robert, when were you in film school? If you don't mind.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I have your t-shirt then.
But yes, you do. But I've talked to the producers in my class, in my era, and they all say the same thing. Like, they didn't learn that stuff. I mean, that was a long time ago, but it's like, it should be standard operating procedure to, like, this is what you need. This is how things are built. This is like, if all this felt like you were taught to a point, because then the studio system is going to take over and shepherd you the rest of the way. And obviously today in 2025, that is not necessarily the case for a lot of folks, in considering how the business is now. So yeah, I'm kind of learning, going back to school and learning. I'm learning a lot from Stephanie right here and now. This is great. I'm taking some notes. So like talk to a film financier, talk to a distribution company, and the lens they view stuff is not like how we view it. And it's you might as well be speaking different languages. It's not about the art. It's about, how do I sell this product? Are we covered? What's the value of it? Do you have the proper paper? That is it. That is all they care about. So they can conduct business, because ultimately it's a B2B enterprise. And if you don't know that, which I don't, and like, oh, okay, I clearly don't know a big part of the business that I need to know if I'm going to be successful. So
Yeah,
very sobering, for sure.
so this is actually, I just have to say this because it was such a big part of my recent education through experience, right? So there's a short film called Sanctuary that I was one of the producers on, and it was a very big short. That is to say, we knew going into it that we couldn't not treat it like a professional set, right? So there's a car chase, there are fight scenes, there are children. We were trying to film it on location, but we could only do so many things on location and still keep, the vision of the director. So we actually built a set. Yeah. So for all the ways that it was a proof of concept, it was also a proof of workflow. So that if anyone was like, hey, I really like this idea, let's see if we can make it into a feature, we already knew how much it was going to cost us because we had already started spending money like it was 10 minutes of a feature. We also knew the requirements of the feature because we had been doing it for the short, right? We knew how to work with SAG. We knew how to work with stunt coordinators. We knew how to work with a studio teacher because we needed them for the kids. And so I think part of what was a valuable lesson in all of that was it is perfectly okay to start a project and not know. It really is. But if you don't have someone in your upper echelon, right, in your producing team that is dedicated to going from beginning to that final delivery, then at some point their energy wanes and they're not interested in finding out anymore, right? Because they feel like their job is done. And that happens all the time with directors, right? Because they're like, the edit's done, man. I don't care after that. And so I think part of the disconnect for a lot of indie, and this is just my 2 cents, is that when the energy wanes, ideally it's just a rest period, not a fuck off, I'm done period. Because after that rest period, you do have to inch towards the last meter of your mile, right? You can't finish that relay if you don't actually cross the line. And so, yeah, I just think part of when directors or independent filmmakers, multi-hyphenates are like, oh, I need a producer. You do not know what you are asking for, because at the end of the day, that producer is the person who will get you to the finish line, right? Yeah, maybe they'll do the schedule and budget. Yeah, maybe they'll help you with locations. Maybe they'll even be like creative with you, right? And stand behind the monitor with you going, is this still according to your vision, right? Which that's why they get the Oscar, right? For Best Picture, because producers are involved in the overall delivery. But man, in the indie world, when you're asking for a producer, you had better know that they're the ones who are going to keep your train moving when you cannot. That is a tall order to ask.
Especially after you wrap. Like everyone scatters
Yeah.
after you wrap.
Yeah.
And production is theoretically the easiest part. And nothing is easy, but easy, 'cause you're just doing what you prepared technically. And then you got to
Yeah.
finish it. And people just scatter, and I've been victim of it too. To myself, it's like, oh, I'm done. You sigh of relief, and you go take a leap. No, you got to finish, and finishing is so hard. It is
Finishing is so
so
hard.
difficult, and delivering, which is the thing I want to get better at, because my next thing is to make a feature, and you have to do all those things Stephanie is talking about. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Which, Robert, I feel like you and I are gonna touch base on this again, because my next big thing is a feature, and it's no easy thing to arrange. Like, because I'm assuming you're also like finding your own financing, like you're producing along with your directing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean there'll be a part of that for sure, 100%, because you have to shepherd, and the indie space we have to shepherd a little more of the lion's share probably, unless you're able to find a team and you delineate those responsibilities. And I'm hoping to do some of that as well. I think all of us should be a big part of the first step, because trying to do it all yourself, and I love Robert Rodriguez, and mariachi style is an ethos of mine too. But one thing I've learned this year, particularly, is trying to do it all yourself is a really daunting task. And Ravenn talked
Yes.
about work-life balance. I need to listen to her work, because I have no balance. I am so cashed the fuck out this year that I'm 90% work and 10% not work. And I don't know
Well,
if that's sustainable.
Robert Rodriguez has like an amazing team behind him too. Like even
Of
for like
course.
Machete and all of that, like he had Elizabeth Avian and he had Al Rodriguez and all these amazing humans that also like have his back.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean it's incredible, because anybody who says, "Oh no, I don't need a team," what are you doing? Like, yes, you need a team, and you need a team you can trust.
Yeah. I
Yes.
wonder if there isn't a way to have like there was this thing in Denver when I was still in film school, or actually right after I graduated, I think, called Cluster Studios. And I adored, and we look at that now and it's just like a shared workspace, right? So you have, let's say a warehouse that's been retrofitted to be like an art gallery, and, a photo shoot psych, and then a couple of offices, and maybe a kitchen break area, and then maybe like a conference room, right? Like shared space, right? But what if you had like a communal or collaborative, like, collection of companies, right? Here's what was going through my mind. One of the most effective things that we discovered as we were doing Sanctuary was we're just going to pretend like everything's a go. We're not even going to wait for money. We're not going to wait for permission. We're just going to assume we're in pre-production. And the way that we keep ourselves on track is by meeting every week at the same time, regardless if we have something to talk about, because we will find something to talk about and we will find something to do. And that's why we meet. Right. And so I wonder if you couldn't have like a cohort of filmmakers, everybody making their own feature, and just meet once a week and be like, so where are you at? Right. What do you need? Um, I wonder what that
Yeah.
would look like,
I think that would be great, because I mean, it feels like you're on it can feel very lonely doing this sometimes.
Yeah.
And Everest is a very tall mountain to climb, and every project always feels like Everest, whether you're writing it or no project's the same. So I mean, I think there would be some value to that, especially because at least in the indie space, you might feel like you're insane for even attempting this, because you don't have the support of a studio system behind you. So yeah, I think there would be value in that, and to keep each other not only accountable, but like, hey, yeah, I'm right with you, buddy. Like we're climbing the different sides of Everest, but we're both climbing, or whatever. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, because in one part it could totally be accountability, and the other part could be, is there anybody in the room who can offer something? And if the answer is no, cool, thanks. At least you were here to listen, right? Because I feel like one of the things that LA Directors Lab did very well is connect everybody with this wonderful little group chat. But,
Yes.
I think sometimes, again, shifting into the cohort mentality where like we are supporting each other, even if we're not on the same project again, I just wonder how that might level us all up. That all being said, I forgot to mention my victory. And I'd really like to share it now because it's kind of important to the whole discussion.
Please do.
I had my very first, yes. I had my very first meeting with a distributor this week. And I know. It was so fun. With absolutely no guile. It's not like I came in thinking I was going to negotiate like I'm at a poker table. It was totally like, hi guys, this is so great. Thanks for watching my stuff ahead of time and answering my questions. And you're awesome. Like I was just so bashful through the whole thing. And luckily it was like a room of two other women, and like I'd been kind of back and forthing with one of them for a minute. So, we'd had a chance to kind of fangirl over each other through Instagram. And then we had this meeting, and it was just like, there's all sorts of good feels here, which is great because now we have to deal with contracts, which we all know is just going to be a big pain in the butt. So, but I just felt like I needed to celebrate that because I do feel like, remember earlier when you were like, it feels really good to finish. And I'm like, there's a part of my heart that feels like I can't actually say that I'm finished until I have pursued the ultimate putting it out there with our names attached and attempting to recoup some of that money. Because one, I do think when we're in film school, there's this misconception, especially the further towards director you are and further away from producer you are, that you're just doing it for fun because it is fun. And it's like, no. This is a profession. You can get paid.
To a point. Yes.
Yeah.
To a point. Yes. To a point.
It depends on like, what's your dedication level, man? Like, are you actually like pulling the trigger and trying to get paid for it?
Exactly.
So yeah, it just felt kind of good to be like, oh yeah, I'm here for the trigger. Let's do this. So yeah. Now I have to continue doing hard things to actually like get it out the door, but like it's a first step in the right direction.
It does feel though you are finished in such a degree where like I have the thing. Like I have friends who I have the thing. You've done the hardest part, the riskiest part. Production is the riskiest part. Everyone says this. The investors say this. Salespeople say this. That is the highest risk. If you've already accomplished that, then you do see the finish line. And so yeah, that's great. So
yeah, man,
you're out there. Everest is right there. You got it.
And that's one of the reasons that I think, you ever finish something just to prove to yourself, like, look, I need to know that I can, so that I have the chance to finish it again. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I really want to make money on the feature from next year. The only way I can make money on that one is knowing that I can make money on this one. So,
yes,
which brings me back to Stephanie, because I'm like, Stephanie, I feel like I need to like walk through your wonderful little software and see what I'm missing, because I'm sure I'm missing something, because I'm always just expect the worst. And so when you're not missing anything, you'd be like, woohoo. But I need to go through that checklist of like, all right, I'm about to go through distribution. What do I need? Which, to be fair, even and maybe not all distributors are like this, but like they had a frequently asked question.
Yes.
The like kind of one sheet.
Yes.
So that I already had that information before even looking at a contract. It was just like, this is how we work. Here you go. Super helpful. Super helpful.
That's one of the things that, like, as a producer, like I wanted to share with everybody is like, yes, the distributors will have their own specific checklists, but before you even go talk to a distributor, like, let's get you on the right track. Like, do you have your accessibility done? Do you have, and by accessibility, I mean, Do you have your closed captioning?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the DCPs? Do you have the stereo and Dolby formats? Because it depends on where you're like, even if it's streaming, it depends, because we have 7 different kinds of televisions and they have different kinds of speakers on them, but they're either set in stereo or they're set in Dolby. So you want it to sound right? Yes, of course you do. You're a filmmaker. You want it to sound right. You want it
Yeah.
to look right? Make sure it's in all these things. Also, chain of title, all of those little things. Like, that's what the deliverables checklist is for, is to really just like help you. Like, oh crap, like, do I have everything I need?
Mm-hmm.
Did I remember that, like, I need to have, do I have the EPKs? Like, do I have the electronic press kit? Do I have the waterfalls? Do I have, like, all of these things that the distributors are going to want to look at? But not
Ooh,
only the distributors,
take a
but
moment and tell us what waterfalls are, because I feel like there are people in the audience going, "What? What did you just say?"
sure.
Tell us what waterfalls are.
So the waterfall is who gets paid when on the back end. So your investors. What investor gets paid first? How do they get paid first? And then once you have a distributor, does the distributor get paid back first? Or like, that's the question on contract.
Mhm.
That's negotiable. Is like, how does this work? Here's where the attorneys come in. Really handy is, what did you agree to with your investor in the first place, so that everybody in that waterfall, because I guarantee you that as the filmmaker, you're low man on the totem pole. You just are.
Which is
If you're taking
why you
if you're
can't get
taking investor
you.
money, you got to understand that.
Yeah. 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 And look, that we make those negotiations all the time. Robert, I saw you like nodding all the way, and I'm like, yep, but like, how many times have talent or directors traded in, their production salary, half it, percentage of it, and called themselves an executive producer for that, reduction in pay, with the expectation that maybe I'll get something on the back end, but it's really to make it through to green light, right? Like, we're just trying to get it through. And the only
Yeah.
way to get it through is to make that exchange. It's possible I'll still get something on the back end because now I'm a producer, because I reduced my rate as a director or as a, lead talent. It's, I'm not even sure it's a fair way to go, but at least it gives you some advantage to, again, get it through the door. Because you mentioned your $1 million film, and I was like, even that can be hard for people sometimes. Like, I know the magic number right now is 2.5 million or less, right, when it comes to indie. But how many people look at 1 million and go, but could you make it for 500,000? Right? Like, some people look at 500,000 and go, but could you make it for 250? You know what I mean? Like, and that's
Especially
when that shit
now.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially now.
it's like, which piece are you going to let go? And most of the time, the piece you let go is paying people fairly, and that's not okay. Like,
It's not okay.
it's not
Agreed.
okay at all, but yet we're expected to, as filmmakers, be like, okay, no big deal. Like, even as a producer, like, oh no, I can't pay your day, I can't pay, like, as a line producer, oh no, I'm not going to pay your daily rate, because what are you really doing? Excuse me?
Yeah. Yes.
You're going to pay the actors 70 times what my PAs are getting? No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You've heard me get passionate about this
I
before,
know. I'm right there with you.
but do not mistreat my freaking PAs. They are the
Yep.
hardest working humans on the entire set. Like, everybody works their butts off, but those PAs, they take the most shit, and they get the least amount of credit. No, you will treat the PAs with respect. And by that, I mean, not only will you speak to them with respect, you will pay them with respect. If they are putting in a 15-hour day, you will pay them accordingly, so that they're not getting $10 an hour. That's bullshit.
Yeah. And I think, to keep things in perspective, the people above the line, right? Your producers, your director, production designer, right? All of the people, and of
Your
course, your top
actors.
tier talent, yeah. And so your top tier talent always have a return on their investment, right?
Mhm.
The people who are below the line, this is their day job. So you can't short them because they have no residual investment,
Right.
except if you do something like equity. So, for just kind of sidestepping, which I swear we'll come back to this. One of the reasons that today is our last live of the season is because we are going to move into a traditional podcast form. That's not to say that there won't be a live component, but we really want to start bringing in some other sponsors. We want to start bringing in some other people having the same discussion in other rooms. And one such company is the Share platform. The Share platform is entirely built on the idea that if you give equity to your below the line people, not only are you expanding the reach of your marketing because everybody's invested in the outcome of your film, but it also means they have a chance of getting something on the back end. And there was one, I can't remember what it was. Was it Sing Sing? There was something
The guys who made
that
Sing
sold for.
Sing and their movie before did that. They had like 90 producers who they did a equity thing, I think, and they paid out all those
They paid
folks.
out.
I think. Yeah.
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 And what's exciting about that is one, there is a sense of fairness when you ask someone to take their lowest possible rate, right? And I'm not talking like $50 a day. That is not even legal. So please stop looking at things. Stop asking for people to accept payment that is illegal. Just full stop. So let's assume the minimum legal amount, which for a 10 or 12-hour day, I think is actually like $250 if you look at California's overtime policy. Cool.
It is.
So regardless of whether or not you say everybody on the crew is going to get $250 a day, or you do a tier system where the lowest possible paid person gets $250 a day and then everybody else gets, a scale based off of that, then you add in, hey, thanks for being willing to take your lowest livable wage. And because you have done that, we're extending this ability to then have residual checks for people who aren't used to them, which is awesome. And the reason it's awesome is because, and I didn't know this, when I got to LA, when people go between projects, they go onto unemployment between projects. I'm from DC, y'all. The only people who go onto unemployment are the people who have burned up all 6 months of their like living expenses in savings. And then they're like, well, fuck, I'm out. I guess I gotta do, unemployment. That is not how it works in LA. So you can imagine that extra little bit of money as people are on unemployment looking for the next production job would be a huge boon. Huge boon. Anyway, I say that all to say, I look forward to working with some of the sponsors we've been talking to. I really hope that Share platform ends up being one of them, because one of the things I think is going to help continue making the industry, feasible as a living is by looking at equity and seeing how can people continue to make their money even if they're not physically on set. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Fully recognizing that we've crested over our normal 55-minute limit. Robert, Stephanie, and Ravenn, thanks for stopping by, Ravenn.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Because this is our last live, is there anything else you're like, oh my God, I really want to talk about this? Any final thoughts, either to the filmmakers who are in the room or to your future selves, because this is recorded?
Honestly, I would say, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Honestly, I would just say, like, as filmmakers, make sure you understand incentives. Like, for real, understand them. Don't just assume that because it has a high incentive that it is going to pay out for you. Take the time to research it, or ask somebody who does understand incentives, and make sure that that's what you want to do, because not all incentives are created equal. A transferable tax credit is not the same as a rebate or a refund. So make sure you're not shooting yourself in the foot. Also, always, 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 like this coming from a line producer and somebody who has done a little bit of the distribution route as well. Always, 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 when you're creating your budgets, make sure you're marketing from development through your deliverables, because you need that marketing cash there at all times. Not in the above the line, below the line budget cases, but in the full picture of this is where we want to go. Don't get to the finish line and not have anything for marketing. Please, for the love of God, please don't do that.
That's a really good idea.
I'm
Sorry.
just gonna listen to Stephanie. Stephanie, I'm gonna email you after this, and
Yes,
you're
please.
gonna take me to school, and you're gonna
No,
make
I
some cool
I
shit.
just really care about educating people and don't do what I did. Don't fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, wisdom comes from experience, which comes from making mistakes. So this is how we get wiser and better. Um, yeah, I, I got nothing. I'm just gonna listen to Stephanie for the rest of the time.
I feel like it make me cry.
Well, Robert, when does your short film come out on Dust? Is it already available?
In December, so it'll be the end of the run. Yeah, so this is the last year. So I screen a week from tomorrow. My lead actor is nominated for Best Actor in my short Honors Half-Life, so that's fun. Yeah, it's slowly getting that. That was my first film in the post-pandemic era that we're in now. So that's ending its run. It'll be on Dust after that. And speaking of marketing, one thing I've learned is, and you hit on this, is you just can't neglect it. You can't forget it. You can't wait till the end. It is especially in the indie space. I am not a marketing person. I'm not a social media person. It is absolutely necessary. It needs to be thought of on the front end, not the back end. And that's what I plan on doing in the future. Like I said, I'm not going to be making movies the way I did even last year, moving forward the way I did, because so much has changed. So, yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
look forward to hearing more about that during our cohort hours.
yes, we should make this happen.
Mwahaha.
I like this team.
Yes.
Well, and the industry, because there's more to this team. We're everywhere. Well, thank you both so much. It was so good to have you on the podcast. For those of you in the audience, be sure to find them on Instagram. We have Stephanie Moore and her link there. We have Robert Flowers, and of course, I will leave Ravenn Burs' Instagram as well for Victory Administration. And please, 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 please make sure that you follow along with their journeys, because one of the biggest ways that you can support indie filmmaking is really just showing up and celebrating what they're doing. I do want to make sure you guys know, since I keep saying the last one of the season, next week I will be at Austin Film Festival. So I may still be putting out little like snippets of like Biscuits with Bosses, because if I meet people and they have like 10 minutes, we may still be meeting people. We're just not going to do it in this format. So I will be at Austin Film Festival next week. And Steph and I are going to be hosting a networking event that weekend. So if you'd like to join in, all you have to do is just follow Off Duty Thanks. That's off period duty period thanks on Instagram. And be sure to tune in, because we'll give you some info on that networking event. So I'm excited to see you in Austin. And of course, stay tuned, because we'll be reposting edited previous episodes to help launch our podcast for the next season. Because we're trying to give this a real go and let it be more than just the live. We'll have live plus. So, and for those of you who stayed this long, I know you were waiting for the very special offer for the end. Because tomorrow is such a big day, I don't think I have to tell you why, but tomorrow is a big day. So the workshop for StoryMath has been rescheduled for November, because I'm going to be traveling for the next 3 weeks. So your girl gone. But I would love for you guys to stop by. So if by chance you are working on anything, you can sign up for the StoryMath workshop next month, Saturday, November 15th. Of course, we always go for a nice chunk of time. It's 10 to 1. And for this one, there is a 2-for-1 deal. So of course, we'll leave that link for you. So if you want to bring a friend, help each other break your story, I'm here for it. And even if you just want to audit, we have reduced price for audit tickets and the guides, the worksheets that you can purchase for $15. Now, it's possible that there's still some tickets left if you want to work with me one-on-one. Consulting is always available, but I actually have a writing retreat coming up early November. It's one of the reasons I'm traveling. I think the Once Upon a Script, the story within her, is the writing retreat. I think there's one ticket left. I think it's one. So do check it out if you have some time, November 7th through the 9th, because we'd love to see you in person and get some storytelling done. All right. That's all the specials I have for you today. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. We love having more people in the audience. And of course, we look forward to having you for another round of tea and biscuits. Just like this. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Thanks everyone so much for coming on.
Thanks, guys. I do have to run. Otherwise, I would love to chat some more, but I will be in touch with both of you, all of you. So much. It was so nice meeting you, Stephanie. So
It was nice
cheers.
to meet you too. I'm excited to talk to you more.
Yes.
Yay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.